and you wanted them to believe that somebody else was the father. But the text indicates the other man was ruled out, so only Mr. Haskett could be the father.
I've offered to pay for DNA. I offered to pay. We didn't have to go to court. I was going to pay for a DNA test. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't show up. He could have done it when she was born. He didn't do it. He could have done it when we went to court, and he didn't show up.
Specifics that you can share that would prove your case.
I can tell you how big his winker is. It's pretty small.
No, it's not. I could tell you plenty of times.
It's about
I've
that
known him
big.
for 7 years.
It's
No,
about that
definitely
big.
not. Definitely not. And don't you dare tell him about his penis.
Mr. Wiggins says he cannot be the father of little Aubrey, and says today's result will end years of frustration and heartache in his life. Little does he know how psycho things are about to get. Here is how he puts it.
As a result of being alleged the father of Aubrey, I lost my wife and I want to regain my family.
You lost your family? You were married at the time? Explain.
Yes, Your Honor, I was married and me and my wife went through a separation due to a rough patch. Due to my separation, you know.
Yeah, you were married, but that did not stop you from going after her anyway, did it? So it cannot be that your marriage would stop you from dating when it did not even stop you from cheating. Here is what Ms. Davis thinks about that.
You did.
2.5 years we was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
Obviously,
in a short period-
You might have gotten more than you bargained for, right?
He did. He did, a child.
And so why did you think you were in a relationship, Ms. Davis?
He stated that multiple times.
Was he telling you there was going to be a future?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins looks all cool and responsible and innocent, but this is one crazy dude. Getting your mistress and your wife pregnant at the same time is nasty work. What did he think was going to happen when he slept with both of them without protection? And it gets even worse.
And of course, because she wanted my wife out of the picture, because she did want more.
You're right. I wanted more because that's what you presented.
And I was good to her. I mean, because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her. So I did what I had to do. I felt I needed to do.
Like 2.5 years, how we're not together.
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be.
Oh, that was what caused a lot of havoc in your life. Not the sleeping around and getting your mistress pregnant before getting your wife pregnant literally 2 months later? That was the great havoc causer? Well, prepare to be entertained because this show gets crazier.
We went to a room and we had fun. He, on the other hand, decides that he wants to go through my phone and he found a little statement about me and the guy talking.
No, it's much more than that, Your Honor. Let's back it up a little. Yes, we did intend to plan Valentine's Day together. However, prior to us going to the hotel.
Wait, how are you cheating on your wife with another woman but trying to get offended when she messes with other dudes? What is happening here? Is this dude serious? Anyway, let us hear about his doubts.
I think more so the birth certificate. You know, I was at the hospital.
You were?
I were. Not when the birth certificate was signed. Your Honor, this is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate. My birthday is November the 9th, 1990.
The one
this
you wrote.
Says 11/11/1990.
And
I didn't write anything. And also in the state of Florida.
So his claim is that Ms. Davis got his name on the birth certificate deceptively, and so that means he isn't the father? Really? Even if that happened, that wouldn't mean anything. And here is the kicker. Ms. Davis says this is just a bunch of lies anyway.
So it is your belief that someone put your name on there and then got your birth date wrong, put it on there as well, that they wrote it in?
Absolutely.
Acknowledgement of any kind?
I wasn't there, Your Honor.
Yes, you were.
It was a phone call asking for my information.
What information were they asking you for? Your name
My
and your
name, my
birthday?
date of birth, my social, where I was born.
You know what this sounds like? It sounds like Mr. Wiggins was indeed there, but wrote a wrong date of birth so that he can later dispute the paternity of the kid. That seems like the sort of slick thing this dude would do. Anyway, it gets better.
Because
No,
when I seen it, when we got the birth certificate, I let him know that whatever he signed it wrong. He was supposed to go get. That's all you asked for was a baby. Was another baby.
I had 2 children,
another
Your Honor.
baby.
I didn't need any more children.
He
I
wanted
didn't need
me
any more children.
because of my body, and he wanted a baby from me.
That
to
is all
keep
I
me.
wanted.
Yes.
That is crazy on 2 counts. Mr. Wiggins is insane for doing that, and Ms. Davis is crazy for believing him. How can you believe a married man who has 2 babies already and says he wants 1 more from you? He is obviously lying.
Why does he want to give his wife back?
I have no idea. I mean,
Because
from my
it was
understanding,
just a sex that
it was never
too
a sex
long.
thing. 2.5 years, I don't understand.
What I'm saying is, how did this all go wrong?
I went back to my wife. That's how it all went wrong. Along with Miss Davis not being able to be with one
He
person.
went back to his wife when he found out about the Facebook.
This is the most psycho dude I have ever seen on paternity court. The crazy thing is, you would never guess he was this psycho if you met him in public. You are likely to just think he is some average dude. No, he is insane. Anyway, this means Ms. Davis would not still be intimate with Mr. Wiggins, right?
Are you all still involved?
No, we're not, Your Honor. No, we're not, Your Honor.
At the same time, two different answers.
Right.
Exact same time.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No, Your Honor, we was at separate hotels.
Yeah, there is like a 100% chance this dude is lying. But who knows? If the child turns out not to be his, maybe he would have been saying the truth all along, right? Maybe. Just maybe. Anyway, here is what the DNA test has to say about this crazy case.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Wiggins versus Davis, when it comes to 23-month-old Aubrey Wiggins, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Wiggins, you are the father.
Mr. Webb says he has never ever been intimate with Ms. Tasha Cole, so there is no way that he could be the father of her baby. Ms. Cole says her name is Tasha, not Mary, so that is impossible. Here is how it begins.
I never had sex with her, Your Honor.
Well, that would rule you out. You've never had sex with her?
No.
Yeah, he did.
She's a liar. She's crazy.
Ms. Cole, we've heard a lot of defenses in this courtroom. Rarely have we ever heard that.
Well, like Judge Lake says, this is a really new one. She says she can remember one night of insane passion, and he says she is an insane liar. Who is telling the truth here? Let's shed more light on this.
Sex or anything, we were just friends. We would chill out, that was it.
You were never intimate with her in any way.
I never stayed in her bedroom. I stayed out on the couch.
That's a lie.
And on top of that, I was only there for a week and a week and a half.
That's a lie.
Ms. Cole, all right, take me back to the night you believe.
Wah, hold on with the screaming woman. You don't have to scream so loudly to make your voice heard. The courtroom is not that large. Please don't have a psycho breakdown here, lady.
You said you and your husband were taking care of Mr. Webb?
Yes, and my grandkids and anybody else that need it.
You're a liar.
You are a liar.
You are a liar. Everything that
You're
you're
a
saying.
liar.
She was on the phone with me 5-6 times
You're
a
a
day.
liar.
Why was Mr. Webb living with you?
He's a punk bum.
Okay, Mr. Webb, your story is also looking kind of crazy. You don't just got to someone's house to hang out for a week or two, especially if you are not really close friends. What was really happening? Here is what his girlfriend thinks.
Okay, can we leave it at that, Tasha? It's not my baby. I'm trying to do right in my life and move on. And this is not doing either of us any good. So just do me a favor and stay out of my life in the inbox. At this point, I'm thinking, I feel like she's trying to say that I'm the baby daddy, but not just hinting, not actually saying.
All right.
Okay, so here's the second one.
So they had a party, and for some reason, he didn't leave immediately after the party. He stayed a week after it and ate so much food that Ms. Cole's mom says she had to bring them food. Anyway, let's see what this text says.
Father to your baby, please leave me alone. And that was not it. I just didn't want to deal with her anymore. I still don't.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, okay. She is actually crazy, all right. This is one psycho lady here. Children do not look like people at that stage, Ms. Cole. That is an insane claim, and no one, Mr. Webb, thinks she is out of her mind.
To know for sure he's the dad, because I did have another partner. It was a month prior.
How we find out?
No, I told you there was another possibility, and I told the other possibility
But you also
there
told
was
them
another.
that you were 100% sure that I was the father. You and your mom said that.
Wait a minute, Miss Cole.
Look, she looks just like him.
That baby's white.
That is exactly what it seems like, because the evidence Mr. Webb has produced actually kind of makes Ms. Cole look a bit crazy. So is there any other possibility? Let's find out.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, there was 2 witnesses there that said that they never had sex at the party.
The night that she said that we had sex or whatever, 2 of our friends were there. One of them were her family members, and even he said that.
Okay, that is a bit more convincing, but here is the thing. Doctors are not perfect. They make mistakes all the time. How do we know the shifting of the due date isn't a mistake? And importantly, what is even the evidence that Mr. Webb slept with Ms. Davis at all?
Specifics that you can share that would prove your case.
I can tell you how big his winker is. It's pretty small.
No, it's not. I could tell you plenty of times.
It's about
I've
that
known
big.
him for 7 years.
It's
No,
about that
definitely
big.
not.
Okay, wow. Well, we have to listen to him then, don't we? He knows himself, and he is really sure he did not get Ms. Cole pregnant. Let's find out what the DNA test results say and get to the end of this mystery.
Jerome?
Here you go, Your Honor.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Webb versus Cole, when it comes to 6-month-old Majestic Cole, it has been determined by this court,
Ms. Cole says she has been a naughty girl and has been with several other men, but that does not matter, she says, because Mr. Gilbert here is the father of her unborn child. Mr. Gilbert says that is just a load of rubbish. Here is how that starts out.
Mrs. Cole and her daughter are constantly lying. We don't know the truth from fiction anymore. I'd like to just find out where we stand on this whole situation. Everything that comes out of their mouths is lies.
So you believe the baby she's carrying is not your son's child?
Absolutely. At this point in time.
Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. No bias here. But why does Mr. Gilbert look like a mix between a school child caught peeing his pants and the pre-mustache figure of a very important German dude who came to power in the 1930s? That is just weird. Anyway, let us see what he has to say.
Did you have sex with Miss Cole?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did. Was it unprotected sex?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Cole, what was the nature of this relationship with Mr. Gilbert?
We went to school together. We were best friends in school, and...
Why is he looking like that? Seriously? This dude creeps me out. Anyway, testimony is that they both got it in and out of their system twice in one day, and then it never happened again. Anyway, here is what happened when Mr. Adolf Gilbert found out that he was going to have a baby.
Would you be in the baby's life if you knew it was yours? And then you wrote back, yay.
No, yeah, why? There's supposed to be a space there.
Oh, yeah, why? So you, oh, I get it. It's not yay.
Yeah.
It's yeah, why? And then she says, because I am.
Yeah, oh boy is the right expression. It does not seem in those texts that he really had any doubts. It just looked like he did not want to have a child, period. Anyway, this gig gets better quickly. So are there any other options here?
Other daughter, Tasha, was in the background yelling, he's not the only option, he's not the only option. It may be somebody else's, it may be somebody else's. And I'm going, really?
That's not true.
You can hear her. Hold on 1 second, Miss Cole. I'm gonna get to you. You were on the phone and you say you overheard this?
Well, at least we have got that out of the way. There is at least one more possibility here, and Mr. Gilbert may get off the hook. But it is never that straightforward in paternity court, because that other possibility has a tiny problem.
Your Honor, he's fixed, and he did not complete.
So you're saying the other potential father, you've found out since that he's had a vasectomy, or he had a vasectomy?
He had.
But that's just his word. He's never given any evidence that he's...
Okay, first of all, gross. Second of all, old enough to be my father is not a real age. But it is real enough to tell us that the age gap is probably even bigger than one between father and daughter. Try maybe grandpa and daughter. Would this dude even be able to get her pregnant? And it gets better.
It's yours. You write back, I don't. Miss Cole writes, the other guy is fit. You write back, so he says. And if you believe that, you wouldn't have lied to me. Cole writes back, do you want to be in this baby's life? And then you write,
that was actually good work, Mr. Gilbert. Good for you. You'd think this case is just between Mr. Gilbert and Ms. Cole, but you'd be wrong, because their mothers have a huge argument brewing. Here is what that looks like.
Lies that she had told him, and it's been nothing but lies out of her mouth. And that's what we have constantly gotten from not but one of you, but two of you. You don't find out the truth about what's going on in a conversation between your daughter and I, and you roll over.
It seems like there is a lot of bad blood between these two. But let us get back to the question of paternity. Is there any other evidence we need to see? Well, let's see, because this twist is insane.
Why do I have evidence right here? The day they went to take the paternity test, this says your daughter is praying that it is my son's. That she doesn't know for sure.
Wait, what do you have?
Right here, Your Honor.
Please hand me that evidence.
See this?
She is praying that it is.
Wait.
I want it to be his so bad.
And you know what? She is absolutely correct. People lie and make up stories all the time. That is exactly why paternity court exists, and that is why this court will read the one result that never lies, the DNA test results.
Father?
No doubt.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In order for us to determine paternity, prenatal DNA test was performed. A blood sample was drawn from the mother and...
Mr. Patrick says a stranger that he offered a place to stay betrayed him and slept with his girlfriend behind his back. Ms. Pence says that she is 1,000,000% her fraternal kids are his, but she strangely says nothing about the stranger's claim. Let's find out more.
We befriended him, let him move into our home. He offered to help pay the bills and stuff.
So you basically took in a person that was going to rent a room?
Yeah, basically, yes.
Okay.
Well, he stayed maybe 5 or 6 days, and he up and moved out. And I questioned her. I said, wonder why he just upped and left? Is it because me and you argue a lot?
Okay.
You know, time goes on. Me and her sat around and had a few drinks.
Oh, we know what happens when that happens, don't we? Your girlfriend is gone all night, and she comes back looking like she was in a hurricane, and from the neighbor's house too? That is basically nightmare fuel for men, and Mr. Patrick lived it. Hold on, it gets even more psychotic.
The gentleman that had been staying with us, it was just the one time. It never happened again after that, and he still seems to believe that it happened more than the one time, Your Honor.
So you hadn't slept with him when he was actually living there?
No, Your Honor.
Wait, did you go looking for him or did you run into him?
I kind of went looking for him. Larry had continuously, from day one, accused me of...
Yeah, darling, she's from the South, and where she comes from, these things are just normal. It is part of the lifestyle, you know. You have got to flirt with the boys and the girls and sometimes strangers who your husband allowed into your home. Anyway, Ms. Pence is certain about one thing.
Slept with anyone before that. Never. You constantly accused me of it, and I kept telling you, you're going to keep pushing, and it's going to happen. That night it happened. That was the only time, and it's never happened since then.
Yeah, guys, that is how it works. If your partner continuously accuses you of cheating on him, the best way to help him get over it is by actually cheating on him, conceiving kids around the same period, and then turn up to paternity court and say, I told you so. That ought to teach him, right? So where is the stranger now?
Honor, I don't. I've never spoke with the guy after that night.
Never kept in touch with him after that night?
No, Your Honor. I couldn't tell you where he is right now.
I have another question. Why that guy? You say you left the house and you said I went looking for him. And I told him if he kept pushing me and kept saying I was cheating, that it's gonna happen, and it did that night.
Mr. Patrick's head must be on Mars right now. The way she behaved like cheating on her husband was the rational next step for her after getting accused of cheating is crazy. But she has some proof to show that Mr. Patrick is the father of the twins.
Right around the 2nd of November, Your Honor. The twins were born almost completely full term. And if you count those dates back, it only leads to Mr. Patrick. There's no
Mr.
way
Patrick,
possible.
do you agree with those dates? They seem to add up.
No, Your Honor, I don't. I mean, it's a 5-day window between there.
A 5-day window between
Mr.
what?
From the date that she had slept with the other man.
You know for a fact? How can you know something like that for a fact? She says because the doctor gave her a date, but doctors usually only give a window. And since the difference is only 5 days, then it is very possible her twins belong to the stranger. So what does Mr. Patrick think?
This exhibit, and you see on October 29th, if that's the date she had sex with the other gentleman?
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yes, it is, but it never happened more than the one time.
That you
That's
say.
the only time. I know for it never happened.
So, Mr. Patrick, you believe this happened more than once?
Oh, yeah.
But why shouldn't he believe that? She has shown that she can cheat on him, and if she can do that, who knows how many times she would have done it. Anyway, Mr. Patrick has even bigger doubts.
There's nothing to hide.
And just like I've told her, if it comes to the fact that the kids aren't mine, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to leave.
That's what I'm afraid of, Your Honor.
I mean, if it does come back, which I hope it does come back, that they are my children, it's still going to be hard for me to gain trust for her again. Trust is
So the stakes are high.
back.
This is very serious.
Well, now I hope it works out for both of them. But we can only know for sure when we see the DNA test results. The good news is that Judge Lauren Lake has it, and here is what they say.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Patrick versus Pence, when it comes to fraternal twins, 4-year-old Carrie Patrick and Larry Patrick, it has been determined by this court. Patrick, you are the father.
I told you that you was the father.
Ms. Mora wants Mr. Platt to finally acknowledge her daughter as his and sign her birth certificate. Mr. Platt says there is less than 0 chance of that happening because he knows that the child cannot possibly be his. But here is how Ms. Mora puts it.
I've come from a broken family. My dad was never in my life. He's not on my birth certificate either. And my daughter deserves the best, you know what I'm saying? And this is why I'm here today, because I'm gonna make sure that his name is gonna be on that birth certificate.
Because you have no doubt he is the biological father.
There's no doubt in my mind, Your Honor.
But you do have doubt, Mr. Platt.
So she was still living with her ex when she was going on all these walks with Mr. Platt and getting to know him. And she continued living with that ex until she started dating Mr. Platt. The only question now is if she slept with that ex while dating Mr. Platt.
Website, you know what I'm saying? I was with my ex. I explained to Mr. Platt that I was with him. I lived with him. He was like, okay, cool. Like we're gonna talk, whatever. He agreed to it. You know what I'm saying? And we ended up meeting up. We went for a walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? And from there, like, is it like?
Hold up. She stayed in that house long enough after they started dating that she got pregnant there? That is messed up. Well, at least she told Mr. Platt that she was pregnant first, right?
You moved out of the house with the other guy.
No, I was still living with him. Yes, I was still living with him.
And were you intimate with the other guy and Mr. Platt at the same time?
Not at all, not at all.
Because we get a lot of people that come into this courtroom and say they were broken up so they couldn't get pregnant because they were broken up.
That's why I have the doubt, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does not sound or look like he was cool with it at all. This already sounds tacky and mad suspicious, but at least when Ms. Mora moved out from the house, she stopped talking to her ex, right? Like he obviously did not show up at the hospital when she gave birth, right?
Mr. Platt.
It's because that he was there. He was at the...
Who was?
He was present at the hospital.
He was.
You know what I mean? I wasn't...
Your ex came to the hospital when you had the baby?
Platt, I talked to Mr. Platt the day before I had my daughter. He was thinking that it wasn't his baby. The other guy didn't show up until 7 o'clock that night.
Wait, this is confusing. So this ex is such a great dude that he is willing to step up for his ex's daughter? Am I getting this right, chat? Anyway, Mr. Platt hasn't been on his best behavior either because he has only stepped up for half of the time the girl has been alive. You cannot brag about being there for your infant half the time, and of course it gets worse.
Sometimes she calls me the dad, and then sometimes
she calls him by his name, Your Honor.
Like she goes wishy-washy. Oh no, she said that the other day.
The other day she did.
On Monday, she said that.
The other day she did, Your Honor.
The other day she called the other guy dad.
Yeah,
like,
and that's why I was freaking out.
She calls the other guy dad? Now, you cannot blame the kid. She is probably confused because there are 2 men her mom is entertaining. But you kind of understand why Mr. Platt has his doubts here. You cannot watch your kid call another man dad and not have doubts about paternity. And there is more.
Would take care of her, yes. I give it to you, you stepped up. But at the same time, every time you would get mad, you would deny her.
Because she would get mad at me because I couldn't discipline her. And like she still does it to this day, like, oh, well, don't be doing this,
because
don't be doing that.
Because I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
That's my baby, and it's saying it's my.
He lets me prove to him that he's the father.
At this point, I am kind of leaning towards this dude being the father. He has not presented any compelling evidence that might change our minds. But maybe that evidence does not have to come from him, but from Ms. Mora. Here is what she thinks.
But basically, you would.
But Your Honor, since day one, since I found out that I was pregnant, and even after I had her, not once have I ever told him, you're not the father. I've always told him, you're the father, and I'm telling you, and I know for a fact that you are. And
only when a few
but
times
listen,
get mad, she wouldn't say it.
Why is this guy still around? Why is this guy picking up this baby?
Yeah, you have to admit that this whole living situation is a bit less than ideal. Any man would have doubts if the mother of his child always had her ex hanging around his kid. But Ms. Mora says she has conclusive evidence that the baby is his.
I know the other dude is not the father because we've had so many miscarriages. And our last miscarriage was right before Anaya. And I lost that baby when I was 5 months. I was already in 2nd trimester.
So you were sleeping with this other guy?
Well, we have seen enough. Ms. Mora and Platt have had their time in court. It is time to put an end to this mystery and see who the father of this baby is. So what does the DNA test results say?
All right, well, let's go to the result. Jerome? Thank you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows.
Ms. Benskin insists that her 4-year-old child is Mr. Haskett's kid. Mr. Haskett, on the other hand, says this is a lie and that Ms. Benskin is nothing but a money-hungry liar, and his girlfriend is also here to back him up. But Ms. Benskin says if he doesn't start paying up his child support, he will go to jail.
He's about $7,000 to $8,000 behind in child support. He cannot hold a job. He has not held a job for a very long time. He's already been to jail once for it, and he's still not paying.
Well, you say you're here to do him a favor. Because you need to get this legal situation.
Okay, but why is she speaking for him? Importantly, why has this dude been paying child support for at least 4 years for a kid he is sure isn't his? That doesn't make any sense. Here is the explanation for that.
Because we had a court date set, and first it had got changed.
It didn't get changed. He didn't show up.
No.
He called in. He did not show up.
That is not how it happened. The first one was rescheduled, and then we had to go again, and then they said that they changed it, and then he rescheduled it.
That is a tricky spot to be in. And if he does not clear this up, he could actually end up going to jail. That would be a crazy injustice. That is why this DNA test is so important. But then the case gets a bit confusing for Mr. Haskett.
But you've even spent time in jail for failure to pay this support.
Yes.
I've never
Yes, you did. You went to jail and you got out right after. Remember?
You don't remember going to jail, Mr. Haskett?
I'm bonded out.
He bonded out right after.
The stakes are pretty high here, but it does not look like Mr. Haskett cares too much about them. Ms. Benskin says none of this is her fault, and Mr. Haskett could have had the DNA test done if he wanted, but he just never cared about doing it.
We're having sex with her, am I correct?
Yes.
You were not using protection?
No.
You were not using protection?
No.
All right, so now we're on the same page that we can make a baby with a paternity issue. So you had sex without protection. How long did this relationship go on?
Oh, so it is a proper love triangle. Mr. Haskett and his girlfriend used to be together, and then they got separated, and then he got with Ms. Benskin. He got back with his girlfriend, and now Ms. Benskin is being pushed out of the picture, but she is not going gently into that good night.
Called his family members, and they knew everything about it, and they are still in Kinsley's life. He just chooses not to be.
So you've talked to his family members, they accept Kinsley, you told him you were pregnant, and he just didn't respond. You couldn't get an answer from him.
Yes, Your Honor.
So was he the only guy you were having?
Wow, what a model, dude. Sleep with a woman without protection several times, and then block her on Facebook when she confronts you about it. Who amongst us wouldn't do that? Seriously, it just makes sense.
And no when I asked her that question.
Yes.
How do you know that?
She had came over to my house, but she had told me she had to pick up her friend from work. And after we had picked him up, he got in the car, he kissed her on the cheek and said that he loved her. And I just kind of stepped back from the situation and looked at it like, what?
This is just loser behavior. If your extended family accepts your baby mama and you don't, the odds are you are the one making a huge mistake. But Mr. Haskett has his own arguments.
Referring to as one of my good friends, and he didn't have a way to work. I gave him a ride to work in my car.
That was
and
his
if
car.
there was sexual intercourse with this other guy, why would I ask you to go with me to pick him up at his work?
Whoa. Now this puts a totally different complexion on things. If this is true, it just means that Ms. Benskin has been lying all this time, and we should not trust a word she says. Here is what she has to say about that.
Benskin, there is no doubt in your mind Mr. Haskett is your child's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have no doubt.
No doubt. I'm just ready to prove it to him. My daughter's 4. She deserves to know who her dad is, and she doesn't. Brent, we've lived 3 houses down from him for 2 months.
That is definitely psychotic. Definitely. Anyway, it is time for the huge reveal. Is Mr. Haskett the father of this beautiful baby girl, or is there someone else in the picture? Let's find out.
Resemblance, Mr. Haskett?
No.
Well, as I said, I have the results for you, but I do want to ask you, Ms. Benskin, one more time. No lying.
No lying.
Just tell the truth. Is there any other possible father?
No.
For Kinsley?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Jerome?